members of the Richard III Society and guests. Welcome. Thank you for coming. It's a joy to see so many people here to celebrate the publication of, we don't have a copy of the book to hand here, of the history, the new official history of the Richard III Society. And it's a great joy also to have its author with us, John Saunders, who has risked many trains to get here from Somerset and left his cat, so we're very grateful for that book. In a moment we're going to hear from John, but first of all I'd like to invite the Chair of the Society, Amanda Geary, to welcome us all here. Thank you.
Royal Highness, distinguished guests, fellow Ricardians, may I welcome you all here this evening to celebrate the launch of the Ricardian Century, a history of the Richard III Society. I'd like to start tonight by thanking the people who made today possible, principally John Saunders, for this important achievement. John's skill and dedication to the Society was already known to so many of us due to his many years' work as editor and driving force of the Ricardian Bulletin, but he has surpassed himself with this book. John, thank you, and many congratulations. Thanks are also due to Wendy Moorhen and Alec Marsh, who helped push the book over the finish line and get it completed, just as the Society Centenary came to a close. We should also acknowledge Society Fellow Stephen York and his wife June for their tireless work on the technical production, and to Gabriella Williams for undertaking the often unsung task of distributing the book to members. I'm sure there are many others I missed, but thank you to everyone for their work on this book, and indeed to all those who have contributed to the work of the Society over the past 100 years. I must also acknowledge here the generosity of two great Ricardians, our former chairman, Dr. Phil Stone, and the actress Josephine Chewson, whose legacies to the Society enabled us to produce this history. Phil, Josephine, we are forever in your debt. I would also like to thank the College of Arms, Principal Garter King of Arms Sir David White, and York Herald Peter O'Donoghue for helping us to hold this special event. As we know, King Richard founded the college in 1484, and so it seems entirely fitting to be here this evening, albeit at a different address. This is the final event in our centenary celebrations, and what a centenary it has been. I think we can all feel a certain amount of pride to be part of the Society, a society founded in the name of a man who valued truth, justice and loyalty so highly. We can only hope that we can live up to those values. The Society has its mission statement, which I'm sure all of us know, in which we state that our aim is to promote research into the life and times of King Richard and secure a reassessment of the material. But there are some other words which many Ricardians have also taken to heart, which have become almost a second mission statement. Those words were spoken by our patron, His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester, and I hope you won't mind, sir, if I quote them now. The purpose, and indeed the strength of the Richard III Society, derives from the belief that the truth is more powerful than lies. A faith that even after all these centuries, the truth is important. It is proof of our sense of civilised values that something as esoteric and as fragile as reputation is worth campaigning for. Thank you, sir. Your support continues to mean a great deal to all of us. So, after 100 years, where does the Society go from here? Too many people still think that they already know the truth about King Richard, but of course we're learning new things all the time. The textbooks we all learned history from at school are now hopelessly out of date, as new knowledge drives us forward. We must continue to research, continue to be proactive and inform people about the historic Richard, not the Shakespearean villain, but a loyal, brave man, a soldier, a capable administrator, an advocate for the common man, a dispenser of justice, a man whose legal reforms still form the bedrock of our legal system to this day. There will always be something new to learn, someone new to reach with the information we have and with our dedicated scholarship. Our work may never be done, so we all look forward to the next 100 years of the Richard III Society and to learning even more about good King Richard.
Your Royal Highness, Madam Chair, fellow Ricardians and guests. What's better place to celebrate the culmination of our centenary than here in the College of Arms, founded by King Richard in 1484, an act of a good king, who by perversion of history was made into a bad king. And that's why we need the Richard III Society, and that's why, for the past 100 years, we have fought his corner. And how fitting that in 1989, this very college should grant to its Founders Society its own coat of arms, resplendent on the cover of this book. A society founded in 1924 as the Fellowship of the White Cross, refounded in 1956, and reconstituted as the Richard III Society in 1959. This history is a record of those 100 years since 1924, of some of the events and some of the people who made our society. No single history can ever be fully inclusive of the past. It's a selective and interpretive process, influenced by the available evidence and the historian's own bias. But I hope, despite any unconscious bias or omissions on my part, it is a fair and accurate account. That it was completed almost on time is due to a number of people whom I'd like to thank. Alec Marsh, whose editorial skills made it better than it might otherwise have been. Wendy Moorhen for her prodigious work on the appendices and much more. And Stephen and June York for their creativity and professionalism in the design and preparation of the book for publication. And I'd also add Gabriella as well, as Amanda did. I'd also like to express my gratitude for the many kind comments I've received so far, especially to the person who said they enjoyed every page. I should also be grateful, I'm sure, to those kind souls who have pointed out the typos. Now, our founder, Saxon Barton, was a gregarious man, whose arguments in King Richard's favour were always based on true scholarship. He was passionate in defending the king's reputation and promoting his interests. One such occasion came in 1934 when he wrote to the College of Arms. And he wrote to Anthony Wagner, then Portcullis per Sweden. And that's Sir Anthony in the picture behind me when you talk about him. He later became Sir Anthony and Garter King of Arms. But this is what Saxon wrote. We would solicit your help to abolish the office of Rouge Dragon, of the Welsh usurper, and restore to the college the great founder's own Percival Blanc Sanglier. It was worth a try. And my apologies to current Rouge Dragon, who I hope he's not here. Nothing personal. For 45 of our first 100 years, we've had the honour of royal patronage. You may recall, sir, your first encounter with the Society when you opened the Bosworth Battlefield Centre in September 1974. Our then chairman, Jeremy Potter, approached you with leaflets and thrust them into your hand. Tracts, you responded. Just the truth, said Jeremy. You became our royal patron in 1980. And ever since, you have shown your interest in us and support for us, and we thank you for it. This year marks my own 50 years as a member. Now, I'm assuming at this point that the more generous-minded of you are thinking, he can't possibly be that. And they would be correct. I joined as a young teenager. Now, I've not been around long enough to have known our founder, Saxon Barton, but I did meet his widow, Dorothy Barton, who lived long enough to achieve her own century. At the time we met, she assured me that Saxon would have been delighted with the way the society has grown and developed. I seem to have lost the page, but I can. I would have gone on to say that I have known all of our past chairmen, Patrick Bacon, Jeremy Potter, Robert Hamlin, Phil Stone, and Matt Lewis. And all of them brought their own unique style and skills to the office, and all of them built on the achievements of their predecessors. And this history, I hope, does justice to them all. And now, as we enter our second century, we can say for the first time, Madam Chair, which in itself is a welcome development. And I'm sure we would all wish Amanda the very best as she embarks on her stewardship of our society. I would also like to acknowledge tonight 4 other people who have made significant and lasting contributions to our society, who are all sadly no longer with us, but they should be mentioned tonight. Firstly is Old Wigram, who, as Saxon Barton, we founded the fellowship in 1956 and became its secretary for many years. Put simply, had it not been for his old, we would not be here today. Secondly, Joyce Melosh, a driving force behind many of the Society's achievements during her lifetime and a prodigious fundraiser for Society projects. And 30 years on from her passing, still fondly and vividly remembered. Thirdly, Dr. Anne Sutton, editor of the Ricardian for 43 years, and during that time establishing it as one of the leading scholarly journals of late 15th century history. And also, of course, the author of many articles and books. Her recent passing, a great loss to 15th century scholarship. And fourthly, Dr. John Ashdown Hill, a key player in the Looking for Richard project, whose work on King Richard's DNA is vital to the identification of the King's remains. Also the author of many books and articles, and another great loss to 15th century scholarship. So, they were the heroes and heroines of the past. But there are also heroes and heroines of the present. And some are standing before me. And I'm going to embarrass 3 of them. Firstly, Peter and Caroline Hammond, sitting down over there. Over 100 years of service to our society in their research and librarian capacities. And still serving today. So that is 100 not out. The recent 10th anniversary of King Richard's reburial reminds us of the unique contribution of Philippa Langley. Through the Looking for Richard project and the ongoing Missing Princes project, she has made and is making the impossible possible. Yes. So, Peter, Caroline and Philippa are a showcase of all that is best in our society. But there is more to the Society's history than just the big names and its long list of achievements. Central to all is the membership. All of you and the thousands who have been members over the past century. The fellowship started as a small group of friends, and that spirit of friendship continues in today's society. Many of us, myself included, have made lifelong friends through involvement in the society. And in these disjointed and troubled times in which we live, those bonds of friendship and shared common purpose assume even more importance in our lives. Whilst we have grown over the past 100 years from a simple fellowship to a sophisticated company limited by guarantee, I'm still not sure what that means, I don't think our core values have changed. We have just grown from a fellowship of the few to a fellowship of the many. And so, my fellow Ricardians, I leave you with one final thought. Of our past, we can be proud. Of our present, we can be confident. And of our future, we can be optimistic. For I am certain, for the Richard III Society, the best is yet to come.
Thank you very much, John. Welcome our patron, Duke of Gloucester, to Gloucester.
It's a very great pleasure to come to the College of Arms and to acknowledge their gratitude to the foresight for having created them in the first place. But it's also a great pleasure to come and help celebrate your centenary. I have indeed read your book, and it's an interesting example of how history develops with a series of steps. Some of them are quite little steps, some of them are quite big steps, but they all add up to a momentum. And you have kept that momentum for the last 100 years, and hopefully you will continue for the next 100 years, finding more steps, both big and little, because we're all interested in the truth. History shows us that warfare has a certain serendipity, that the fact that you win or lose a battle, or win or lose your life, have an effect in history without actually proving anything other than that somebody won and somebody lost. And it is your ambition to seek out that truth, to see Shakespeare's story for what it is, and to try and find a whole lot of new facts that may pose a different idea of who and what Richard III was. So I'm very grateful to you for having offered me the chance to be your patron. I think because of the fact that we had the same name, made me feel right. Well, I owe something to these people because they're trying to revise the reputation who Shakespeare had made pretty known. So thank you for that, and I hope that you will continue to support the Richard III Society, to find out all the different facts in libraries and archives all over the world, and to prove that just because you're a winner doesn't mean that you own the truth. And that is something which we can see, whether it's in Ukraine or wherever, that the truth is all part of what's going on. So, in your hunt for fake news, finding out what really happened, it may take you another 100 years to get to the bottom of it. But I thank you very much for being concerned and for trying and for continuing in pursuing this. So if I could ask to give a toast.